Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rasa, you have to look at this. I think there was something in the apartment.
BV, the manager already checked this place. There are no pests in here. Well, besides you and the robot.
Oh, ha ha. I mean, look at the footage I recorded.
Did the camera run out of power?
What? No, there's no way. I had the camera running at full power, fully charged, and everything.
BV, aren't we supposed to be working on the next assignment?
Yeah, we're gonna go for an easier one, but there's still a little bit of a problem.
The gun.
Yeah, the gun is still broken, so I thought maybe we should use this so you can use those keys. This is what the keys are based on. Kamen Rider 01 belt.
Why does this look like you yanked it out of my computer?
I did not, but I would suggest you use your laptop for a couple of weeks until a new part comes in.
Okay, so I just stick on like this. What the heck, BB? This thing nearly killed me!
Huh, that's weird. I thought the belt would sync up with you. I got something else. Maybe this could work. But there are some issues I'm trying to understand about it.
Please don't be nothing bad. Please nothing bad. Nothing bad happens. Okay, I didn't get shocked. Green card, haven't used this one in a while. Pension? Okay then, what's my assignment?
Wallace and Gromit, vengeance most foul.
Okay. Aardman Animations is a company that's mostly run in the UK, famously doing stop-motion animation. Mostly doing shorts or commercials, but they have made movies. You more likely have known their work like Chicken Run or Flushed Away. I remember that one. Well, their most known work is the Wallace and Gromit series, a story about an inventor and his lovable dog companion, doing adventures and making inventions. The series is popular enough that it even had a spin-off series called Shaun the Sheep, and in 2025 they released the new movie. The movie starts taking place many years ago as Wallace and Gromit has captured the jewel thief. Wait. Oh, wait a minute, this is the sequel.
Huh? Wait, what?
Context for those who don't know, Wallace and Gromit had a series of shorts, and one of them was The Wrong Trousers.
But your shorts are the same.
That's the name of the shorts. It starts with Wallace spending most of the money on a pair of robotic legs to give Gromit walks for his birthday. And with bills piling up, Wallace decides to offer up a room to rent for a character named Feathers Madral, a penguin who wears a rubber glove because he believes he's a rooster.
When was this released?
93.
People back then would have thought it was funny. Now people will just say same. I feel like we're living in a Monty Python sketch sometimes.
BV, we are not living in a Monty Python sketch.
Binge style. Binge style.
Give me a moment. Five blocks to the left! Where was I? Feathers is actually a jewel thief, and getting Gromit to abandon the house by taking over the role of a companion to Wallace. He hotwires the robotic pants and gets Wallace into them to tire him out and use the sleepy Wallace in the robotic pants to rob the museum of the Blue Diamond. Gromit, with Wallace's help, was able to capture and send Feathers into the zoo. Being made in 93, you see how well they were using with stop-motion animation. The train chase was still a marvel to see, even to now. The issue is, it is short, being like 30 minutes, and it's kind of a speed running of Feathers taking over Gromit's place. It's a good short to watch. So back to the real review. Well, Feathers is still in his zoo prison, and at least we know how the Brits are nice to their animals, as we see a bunch of prison montages with Feathers. At Wallace and Gromit's home, we see Gromit's routine of dealing with Wallace's inventions, showing that how Wallace gets up, showing the improvements from the original, and showing the types of inventions Wallace makes. That is one invention I am pretty sure the neighbors do not need to see every morning.
How is he not arrested for that?
We also get to see how both characters relax in their own ways. Gromit gardening and Wallace building gadgets. Though Wallace's heart's in the right place, in his design, he made the garden gnome robot to help with the gardening, making it look more like a posh garden than a beautiful flowery haven.
I am more surprised he didn't bit him.
Well, the bright side is that the neighbors love it so much that they'll pay to use the robot.
It's already showing some issues as Gromit's not getting the attention that he wants from Wallace as the Gnomebot is taking over everything, even one up Gromit in anything he does. And it doesn't help the fact that Wallace and the Gnomebot are being shown on TV in front of everybody. To which Feather overheard seeing what's going on, and during a surprise inspection from the guards, Feathers sneakily steals the glove's guard. And at night, Feathers using the garbage he collected over the years and built an extendo hand with comic features.
You know, for a character whose facial expressions never change, they do a great job showing how much of a threat he is.
He's basically the embodiment of this meme.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
With Gromit, we're seeing his issues more with the robot, as Wallace is talking about the advancements of technology and showing what the Gnomebot can do, and even one-upping him in Gromit's hobby of knitting, to the point where when Gromit's trying to go to sleep, the Gnomebot decides to hijack his room to charge itself in the most annoying way possible. And out of frustration, Gromit decides to charge the Gnomebot using Wallace's computer. Which what Gromit didn't know is at the same time, Feathers using his extendo comedic hand to hack into the guard's computer and using it to hack into Wallace's computer to reprogram the Gnomebot.
That is some talent for someone who's been in the zoo for years.
It's actually more surprising that the gadget's mostly made out of wood.
The next morning, like their usual routine, Gromit sees something wrong with the robot, and with more jobs on the way, we see what the robot was doing over the night after it was fully charged. The Gnomebot built an army of himself, and lucky for Wallace, he's decided to track them all so there'll be no issues with the whole jobs that they were given. Gromit, on the other hand, wants to know what they are doing. As they are doing their yard work as they're supposed to, Gromit noticed something is off as they're doing something extra, taking more items than they're supposed to, and even capturing Gromit and throwing him into a shed. At least they're friendly and not trying to kill Gromit. Feathers straight up tried to kill Gromit by pointing a gun at him. We also see that the robots get Wallace to sleep faster as they're working on their own project. On the other side of town, we're also focusing on the retiring police chief McIntosh, who's more worried about his service and his retirement, as his final task is to do the big diamond reveal that has been locked up throughout those years, and his principal belief is focusing on his gut, while his protege, Mukherjee, the new girl, is more focusing on evidence than anything else.
I actually kind of like this dynamic. It's kind of mirroring Wallace and Gromit in a way.
With the Gnomebot stealing the items, Wallace is framed as a criminal by the town. The police took all of Wallace's inventions as evidence, and with the missing objects, we see how Wallace is without his gadgets, now suffering from his routine, showing he doesn't even remember how to make a cup of tea.
But it also shows the issues that, even with the modern advanced technology, simple things like sewing or cooking are considered a challenge to people nowadays.
Rasa?
Vivi, before you even try anything, I know how to cook for myself, and I know how to sew. Though I don't know how these shirts keep getting repaired. That's one I still don't understand.
Wallace wanting to prove his innocent, but he needs to know where the gnomes are. But the police having the device, Gromit, wanting to help out, decides to go to the station to get the device. But the gnomes are one step ahead, as they stole the engine and the wheels to their truck.
You can't have anything in Britain!
Luckily, Gromit got a motorcycle as he drives to the station to get the tracking device he needs for this.
How?
Well, McIntosh was busy with his speech, and Mukherjee was too busy investigating. That actually makes perfect sense with only 2 people.
Using the device, he discovers that the gnomes are traveling to the zoo and sees what the gnomes was using the stolen items for.
And that
Was to get the gnome bots to build a makeshift submarine to have Feathers escape from prison.
the Gnomebots are smart enough to MacGyver a working submarine that can access the sewers and get into the zoo with no issues.
Feathers was also one step ahead in case Gromit found out what's going on, as he got the head Gnomebot to trap Gromit into the lion's den. With a massive amount of luck that the Gnomebot landed on its back, which resetted it back to its factory settings, was able to help Gromit escape out of the lion's den.
Who puts the reset button on its back?
I said Wallace was an inventor. I never said he was competent. Gromit escapes, traveling to the museum to stop Feathers, as the chief reveals that the diamond is a turnip.
He was right in his speech the first time when he said he was uninformed.
It's shown in the flashback time has passed as Macintosh's hair turned gray, but somehow the turnip didn't rot.
It means that the diamond never left Wallace's place. You're not wrong, but it also means that the diamond never left Wallace's place.
And Feathers knows where it's at, and they built a submarine base under Wallace's house.
How?
Well, compared to the other stuff Wallace does to his house, this is the least questionable.
Feathers has the two captured, and the teapot, which was being shown a lot throughout the whole movie, was what was hiding the diamond. He locks them up, escaping using their vehicle.
First he steals the engine, then he steals the wheels, now he steals the truck itself.
It's actually funny that the gnomes are lifting up the car, and while they're running, they're making vroom vroom noises.
Luckily for Gromit, they have a leaf blower which they use to escape out of their locked room and out of the house so they can proceed to joining the chase for Feathers. More funny that Feathers and the gnomes crashed in an alleyway because it was covered in banana peels, and they switched from wheeled vehicles to boats as they begin the boat chase with Wallace, Gromit, and the Gnomebot, borrowing the police chief's houseboat in chase. As the chase increases, Gromit gives Wallace the motivation to build another invention, this time to reboot the Gnomebots. As they're falling into the water while rebooting, Gromit's collecting them all up.
They boot to reboot the boots.
Really, baby?
With the boat chase increasing, with Gromit getting on Feather's boat as they struggle to get the bag, leading to a narrow water bridge. Feather decides to steer the boat to its side, having both sides of them on opposite ends leaning, and Gromit holding the bag.
Where have I seen this before?
Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea.
Gromit holding the bag with both sides trying to stay balanced. With Gromit's life on the line, Wallace tells him to give the diamond to Feathers, in which Feathers gets the bag and escapes, leaving Gromit to fall to his death.
Wow, penguins are dicks.
That was actually a nicer one. You should see the others.
While Gromit's falling, he is saved by the Gnomebots, but Feathers escapes, but discovers that Gromit switched the diamond out with a turnip. Well, Feathers is still out there. People's lives move on. Macintosh is now a retired person living on his boat, but still enforcing water laws.
So he became a Marine then.
You're not wrong.
Mukherjee is the new head, relying both on evidence and her gut. Wallace's name has been cleared, and he's more accepting of a human touch, and not so much focusing on machines. And Gromit's more accepting of the tech, as their yard shows a fusion of Gromit's gardening combined with Wallace's tech, helping it all out.
And that was Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Foul. I loved it.
This is what a sequel should be, a continuation while adding more to it. It does feel like it's just throwing trousers again, with Gromit not liking the new tech, Feathers using the tech for his own good, and them doing a chase to stop Feathers. But it does a good job adding more to it. Even the mirroring of seeing how Wallace and Gromit mirrors Macintosh and Mukherjee, with both sides accepting the other one's thoughts. I feel it did a good job giving Wallace more of a character, learning about the issues with tech at the time, but not truly making it its own fault. And like I said, they did a good job on emotions. You get a lot of character from Gromit and Feathers. Two animals who do not speak, showing actions speak better than words. I also have to admit, I like Gromit hating the gnomes bots, especially the charging noise.
I do not blame Gromit.
If you want to watch it, currently at the making of this video, it is currently on Netflix.
So, BB, how am I going to get rid of off the screen? Maybe if I press the red button again. Yeah, it's a briefcase she gave me. It turned into a shotgun. Why is it a different color? Oh, blade. This is a new key. Okay, and... Huh. Well, that was a quick job.
Well, you're back to normal.
Hey, that was actually more easier to do than the usualness. That was actually a good device, BB.
Yeah, I'm happy it worked.
Well, I can't wait for the next assignment then.
Well, that means we can get back to work. And I need to find out who dropped that device.